10 years after the fall of Troy, while every other Greek hero has long since returned to his kingdom, Odysseus has completed one of the greatest journeys ever told. From the horrors of the Cyclops and the Song of the Sirens, through the dark realm of the dead, the wrath of Poseidon, and the long years of disguise and waiting, he has survived it all. Now, with his hall reclaimed, his son by his side, and Penelope in his arms, only the final threads remain. Welcome to our journey through Homer's The Odyssey. Today we're diving into Book 24, the final homecoming and the end of the tale. In the underworld, the spirits of the slain suitors are led by Hermes, the guide of souls. They arrive as a pale, murmuring crowd, still shocked by their sudden and violent end. There, in the shadowy realm of the dead, they encounter the great warriors who fell at Troy, the famous heroes whose stories they once heard as boys. Agamemnon's ghost, still bearing the wounds of his treacherous murder by his wife and her lover, steps forward. He marvels at what he hears of Odysseus's triumph and is deeply moved. With genuine admiration, he praises Penelope's unmatched loyalty and cleverness, contrasting her steadfast devotion with the betrayal that ended his own life. "What a wife Odysseus has won," he declares. "Unlike my own, she has kept her honor and her home intact." The other shades listen in awe as the story of the suitors' defeat spreads through the realm of the dead. Back on Ithaca, the families of the slain suitors gather in grief and burning anger. Word of the massacre spreads quickly through the island, and soon a large group of armed men, fathers, brothers, and kinsmen, march toward the palace, determined to avenge their dead and punish Odysseus. The air is thick with rage and the threat of renewed violence. Odysseus, Telemachus, Eumaeus, and Philoetius stand ready at the palace, prepared to fight once more if necessary. A new battle seems inevitable. Spears are leveled and swords drawn. But just as the clash is about to begin, Athena appears in the form of Mentor, the wise advisor. Her presence radiates divine authority. She raises her voice and commands both sides to stop. She urges them to lay down their weapons, to choose peace over endless cycles of revenge, and to remember the cost of further bloodshed. Under her guidance, solemn oaths are sworn. Odysseus and the leaders of the opposing families make binding promises. Old wounds begin to heal, forgiveness takes root, and harmony is finally restored across the island of Ithaca at last. Odysseus then leaves the palace and walks the familiar paths to the countryside to find his aging father, Laertes.
Looking for more great storytelling? Check out History in Decades, the podcast that makes history feel alive and relevant. Each episode walks you through one decade at a time, from the early American colonies to the modern world. It's hosted by Jim Rand. It's engaging and full of the lessons we can still learn from the past. Search for History in Decades on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Download History in Decades podcast today.
Odysseus finds his aging father, Laertes. The old man, worn down by years of overwhelming grief and hard physical labor, is tending his orchard just as he had done for so many years in his son's absence. Dressed in humble clothes and covered in the dust of the earth, Laertes looks every bit the broken, sorrowful father who had given up hope of ever seeing his child again. With great tenderness and care, Odysseus approaches and reveals himself. First, through carefully chosen stories only a true son would know, and then by showing the distinctive scar from the boar hunt of his youth. Recognition slowly dawns on Laertes' face. Overcome with disbelief and overwhelming joy, the old man's legs nearly give way. Father and son embrace tightly, tears flowing freely as 20 years of separation, worry, and quiet suffering melt away in that single, heartfelt moment. Telemachus joins them, and for the first time in decades, 3 generations of the family, Odysseus, Telemachus, and Laertes, stand together weeping with profound joy and deep healing relief. With all conflicts resolved and the favor of the gods upon him, the man of many twists and turns has finally found rest. His epic tale of perseverance, loyalty, and the deep longing for home comes to a quiet, hopeful close. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this complete journey through Homer's The Odyssey. From the very first council of the gods in Book 1 to this final moment of peace and reconciliation, it has been an absolute honor and joy to share these ancient stories with you. If your journey with the Odyssey is concluding here, I warmly invite you to begin it again from the start, or share it with a friend or loved one so their own adventure through this timeless epic can begin. Every share helps these classic tales reach new hearts. Be on the lookout for more podcasts, where we'll continue bringing powerful stories from history and mythology to life, one chapter at a time. Thanks again for listening all the way to the end. Until our next adventure, may you always find your way home.